Yo, what is up, my Shadow Army? It is I, Shadow Curious, back again with another Hazbin Hotel anime video. So, yesterday, this is part 4 and the final part of behind the scene of my fanfiction of Hazbin Hotel, Blood of the Nephalem, and this will cover the last 5 chapters, chapter 31 through chapter 35. And I just post 3 chapters yesterday, and I just dropped the last 2 today. So I just want to say that this has been a journey for me. I started doing this fanfiction back in February the 8th, and I took a month break on April, then came back in May and started continuing on with the story. So the fact has been 4 months since I started. Since I started in February and then towards here. So basically, 4 months now. 4 months I work on this. Like, I was so passionate of doing this, and the fact I finally finished. It doesn't feel like 4 months, honestly. And y'all guys really enjoyed the story. It got so good that it became the popular fanfiction than my MHA. Even though I have 2 fanfiction out, which is this one and my MHA old version. So yeah. So let's discuss of chapter uh chapter 31. So yeah, let's discuss about it. Chapter 31 is literally titled The Root versus Hellspawn. Is basically Rue left heaven and viewing all the 7 rings out of in the void, and then Al Simmons is the first person felt her present. So this chapter is literally focused on the fight. Her first fight ever to be freed is with Al Simmons, aka Spawn. I want this one to be intense battle between them two, and Al Simmons still put up a work, but I had to let Rue win. I mean, she didn't kill him. I will confirm that she didn't kill him. She just sent him to um. She literally just sent him to her prison for now. So, because she knows she cannot kill Al, but she doesn't need to. She just needs him out of the way. So yeah, that's basically it of the first chapter. I mean, not the first chapter. That's literally why this chapter is literally, it's just like the fight scene as a whole. And I know people think that, oh, Spawn should have just beat Rue or something like that. Yes, I get it. Spawn is OP as fuck, but keep this in mind. He's at that stage of, I forget his name, the old guy who is a mentor to Al Simmons to understand how to use his power. The first ever Hellspawn before Al. Yeah, Al Simmons is in that stage. He's still Al Simmons. He's still a powerful person, but he's not that kind of level of stage that he used to be. So yeah, he's at that stage of being like an old man, but still. And I had to let Spawn lose because, for the sake of the plot and for the sake of the story or something like that. So that's literally the main reason why. And have Zach to feel Al Simmons' present just be gone gone, not dead, but gone, vanished, because the symbiote could feel another symbiote and their connection to each other between like a mentor and a student. I want to say like a student, more like a mentor and a soldier, so to speak. So yeah, so Zach is kind of pissed at that point. So yeah, chapter 32, Rue. This I wanted to show how powerful Rue is. Like, shows how dangerous, how threat she is by sending her shadow roots and her roots head dragons spread and causing massive damage and chaos and destruction. See how threat threat she is. And I knew this chapter, this is the idea I had in mind way back. And I finally got the chance to write this of Rue showing herself to everyone, all the angels, Emily, Sarah, uh, Abel, Michael, Gabriel, and Azrael. Those six angels to be involved. And the other angels are there. They're just the other archangels are trying to get someone, which I'm not gonna say who. If you read the chapters, you guys should know, which I will save that when we get to that point. And we see how dangerous Rue is, and there are some major deaths in this chapter. I was like, oh, I'm gonna have fun with this. And this is literally shows Alistair of his newfound power, that he made a deal with Zach and him against Rue, and etc. And Rue kind of exposed Alistair that, yeah, he is once a spy to her, and she is upset and disappointing that you made a deal with a Nephalem. I feel disappointing. That whole thing. And I like how a world where Rue brought Rosie all chained up in the air, like have everyone be so confused. Like, wait, why Rosie, the overlord, the leader of the cannibal people of the cannibal town? Why is she all chained up or whatever? But turns out Rosie never existed. Rosie was just in a disguise for someone. When the illusion disguise faded and shows Eve, everyone was shocked. Alistair know that Rosie was Eve, so he kind of knows. And seeing everyone else seeing Eve alive and being as a puppet, and of course I had to add Abel in this because, like, how would he reacted to see his mother like this? Because he has not seen his mother for God knows how long. So that sort of thing. So I just want to add that kind of a reunion that Eve had not seen her kids centuries, and Abel had not seen her mother. Because that is one thing that still bothers me in the Hazbin Hotel. They mention Eve in the first season, but we honestly do not know what happened. So, and there are some people think that Eve became Rue, the root of all evil, which I can potentially see that. But there are some people saying no, they don't want Eve to be Rue. And to me, my headcanon, I think Eve is Rosie in disguise by being used as a puppet by Rue, the root of all evil herself. So that's just a thought I have in mind. Now, I had three major characters death. No, take that back, four actually, because I forgot to mention her death in this chapter, but I had to include it in the next one. So, the first three major deaths in this chapter is nifty, which is mainly because I just didn't have any point for her, and plus, I mean, to be honest, I had to kill off certain characters because, like I said before, some characters are not saved, and there's some characters just have no meaning. And plus, I Nifty was only appeared in the early chapters of this story, so I had to kill her off. Then the second one, I had to kill Baxter because he's rarely in the story, only once, and I think, if I remember correctly, only once. So I had to kill him off. So there's that. The death of Vaggie. Yeah, I had Vaggie to kill it off because I had to think, like, how, if I'm gonna, when I was doing my research for Rue herself, when I looked over the Wikipedia of her characters and her goals, etc., Rue wants to destroy everything and recreate everything in her own image by destroying everything and recreate of her own image, and she wants to destroy Charlie's hope. So Rue wasn't planning on killing Charlie. Rue wants Charlie to believe that, but Vaggie stepped in and took the killing blow. So killing Vaggie would hit Charlie. And when I did my research for Rue, like I said, one of her goals that she killed Vaggie, I was like, oh, I'm gonna use that. And this is the one I've been waiting the most. Because this is the one I like, oh, there's gonna be a major character death. And one of them is Vaggie. Like, this is the one that I had to do it because it fits so well for the story. And I will say this much, killing off Vaggie kind of fucking hurts me. But it was so good, but it hurts me because I do love the duo between Charlie and Vaggie of their lesbian relationship more and more. And I just had to. And to keep this in mind, in this story, them two, because Vaggie proposed Charlie. Both of them are fiancés, officially. So, yeah. It was like a day ago, like a day ago when they became an official fiancés. So, yeah, I had to do that. I'm surprised no one ever think of foreshadowing or whatever, or red flag, whatever, which I am so glad no one said anything. So, killing off Vaggie was something that is something that has been on my mind for quite a few months. After her death, two beams of light shows up, which is Angela and um, and Zach. But before I move on, there's something I want to discuss real quick. It's about Sarah. For those people who may not know, Vivzy released a sticker of the angels. You know, Sarah, Emily, Abel, and Abel and Adam, along with Winter Serpentius, celebrating the LGBTQ. We see Serpentius being bisexual. Um, Emily is more like a supportive. Sarah is confirmed to be a lesbian. That caught me off guard that Sarah is confirmed to be lesbian. And here's something that I noticed, where it is clicked in my head. Before this was even announced, when I brought Angela from the Spawn comic, I had to do my research on her real quick. But when I saw her Marvel version, because The author got copyrighted for using Angela in the Spawn comic. So when I looked up Angela in the Marvel, Angela is a lesbian, and her name is Sarah. Yeah, Angela's girlfriend, her name is Sarah. So I use Sarah and Angela in this story as a lesbian couple, basically because of the Marvel Wikipedia of Angela's lover. I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to use that idea. Angela and Sarah being a lesbian couple in the Hazbin Hotel or whatever. But I never expect that Vivzy would announce that Sarah is lesbian in her Hazbin Hotel series. I was like, I was using Sarah for Angela's lover for this fan fiction based from the Marvel Wikipedia that Angela is lesbian and her lover's name is Sarah. I using that for that example. In my mind, I was like, did Vivzy read my fan fiction and make Sarah lesbian? Like, I was like, what the fuck? I was not expecting this at all. Because, guys, keep this in mind. I was the first person made Sarah as a lesbian for the story before it was even announced. So, keep that in mind. So, that caught me so off guard. When Zach and Angela arrived, Zach is a bit pissed, but when he sees uh Rue gives Zach this look. Now this image I did with AI with Rue, the reference of this is from season 1, where Sarah is speaking to Emily with a smile on her face and a flaming in her eyes or whatever, flaming, reflecting in her eyes or whatever. Yeah, this image was a reference based off that. And this pose right here for Zach after he turns to his back and sees Charlie crying and her hand, covering, yellow blood or yellow golden blood of Vaggie and see the death of Vaggie. Zach just went to his symbiotic form, but before that he placed his father's sword to the ground, like stabbed it, turned into his symbiosis form. This pose that I did with AI is a reference to Goku when he went Super Saiyan for the first time and gave that look to Frieza. So I had to use that as a reference for this. So yeah, that's where chapter 32 end. Chapter 33, Fate and Hope. Now this is a fight between Zack and Rue. This is something I've been waiting for quite a bit. And the music for this is literally called Fate. And having Zack face off against Rue in his symbiotic form, the fight between them two is very intense. And I had to make Rue to feel bleed. I think it was in this chapter that in this, the fight between Zack in his symbiotic form against Rue, for the first time Rue actually spilled a blood. Zack literally made Rue bleed, and oh boy, that got Rue so excited. So Zack does get his ass beat in his symbiotic form. So yeah, Zack is not strong enough against Rue in his demonic power. So Zack basically had to go into his angelic form. If you guys have not seen what his angelic form looks like, which is this one right here. So he goes to his angelic form to fight off against Rue. Rue was excited. She's like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. And for the first time, Rue does get pushed back. And when she did get pushed back, well, remember I said there was 4 major deaths that was going to happen in chapter 33, and I forgot to mention one character in that chapter, but I included in this? Yeah. After Rue get pushed back, Lute decided to take the chance she wants to kill Rue by herself. And Zack trying to stop her, but it was kind of too late. So, let's just say Rue used her ability to freeze her at place, use telekinesis to rip Lute in half, kill her instantly. Yeah, killing of Lute. The reason why I did this, have Lute go after Rue, because she felt responsible and she wants to atone for her mistakes. I mean, she still want to kill the demons and etc., but what she did was a crime, but she gets killed regardless. So kill off Lute, I had to, because I just don't have any role for her. Like, if I kept Lute live, yeah, she would have been locked up in prison in heaven. So, yeah, that is something I was thinking of, but I decided to have Lute to be killed instead. When Rue fully got up and she says, like, you surpass both your fathers. Basically, when she said, you basically surpass both your biological and your adoptive father. Good. I don't have to hold back. So, Rue goes all out, and Zack, in his angelic form, got his ass beat. Yeah. I wanted Rue to be a threat. Literally, she is powerful. OP as fuck. So, even Zack by himself, both his angelic and his demonic forms, are not enough to defeat. So, we do have Hear My Hope. This is Zack's version. And I like how I did to have certain characters have singing some lyrics like Charlie, Emily, and Lilith, and then everyone else in the battlefield, the hotel crew, Lucifer, and the rest of the angels. And I forgot to mention, when Zack went to his angelic form, rushing the battle, he sent Rue flying, free Eve from her shackle, because his father's sword, was so powerful they could cut through any type of change, like chains. So, yeah. So, Abel was able to get his mother back, being freed. So, I forgot to mention that. And back to the Hear My Hopes. Basically, even with Zack, Charlie, Emily, Lilith, Lucifer, the rest of the hotel crew, and the other angels, it was not enough until the Overlords, Stolas, and the other Goetias, the Deadly Sins, and the other Archangel's brothers, the other 3, arrived to stop Rue. So, until when the songs reach his end, Angela and Al Simmons join in. Angela freed Al Simmons out of the prison from the outside, while Al Simmons trying to get himself out of it from the inside. So both and Angela work together to get him out. So they use their powers to add in to basically trying to seal Rue back, but it was not enough. No, I take that back. They were not trying to seal her. They were planning to erase her. Even with everyone, even the citizens, both hell and heaven, united as well, it was not enough. So basically, even with everyone, both heaven and hell united to gave all their energies, all their powers to erase Rue, it was not enough. It was never enough. Even the song Hear My Hope was never enough. Yeah, Rue was that fucking powerful until one person, one deity decided to show up and gain an aid with his power. God himself. Yeah, I brought God himself in the story because he was the only one who can erase Rue with ease. So yeah, Rue was so powerful that Lucifer, the archangels, Zack, the deadly sins, the Goetias, the seraphims, those six of them were not strong enough, along with Al Simmons and Angela and Charlie and everyone else. Everyone are not strong enough to end Rue. So basically, God shows up and aid them with his power enough to erase Rue. So Rue just got erased by God himself by helping both heaven and hell. So yeah. So we actually could say that Rue got a lot stronger. And there's a reason why. The reason why Rue got a lot stronger than before and why both hell and heaven unite was not enough to end her is because, well, more sinners just keep coming. The more sinners been coming, the more stronger she gets. Since the extermination has been cancelled, Rue is getting a lot more stronger than she was before. If you guys go back one of the previous chapters where Lucifer and Lilith had a discuss with Zack and Charlie about Rue and why the extermination has to happen for a reason to make sure Rue doesn't get stronger. Killing few of the sinners was the only way to weaken Rue. Without the extermination, Rue will get much more stronger than ever than before. So that's why I did it. That's why I did it, because I knew that was going to be a problem, and I knew there was going to be like a consequences, because ever since season 1, when the extermination has been canceled, when season 2, the extermination is no more and has been done, the extermination is no longer going to happen anymore, that's going to be a problem. That's definitely going to be a problem, which means Rue is going to be a threat. She's going to be far more fucking powerful. She might be close in the same level of God himself, but she's not near that close. She is stronger than, if I had to scale how strong she is now, she's in the same level of Jesus in the Hazbin Hotel. Yeah, so I actually made a fan art of Jesus himself and the Hazbin Hotel. So if I had to scale Rue how powerful she is, same level than Jesus. Yeah, she's that fucking powerful. That's why God himself shows up and aid with the others with his power to erase RWBY from existence. So yeah, that's why. Chapter 34, Brighter of Life. Now this is a like the aftermath, etc., and what everything happened with RWBY. All her roots are now being vanished, erased from existence. But the damage was done. There was no celebration. It was just, sadness because a few people died. Vaggie died, Loot, Baxter, Nifty, and even Eve. Yeah, Eve is dead because once she was freed by Zack and RWBY being erased from existence, Eve is dead. So Zack trying to think there has to be a way, there must be a way, and God is like, there is a way, but there is a price. Which means Zack has to give up not only his angelic powers, his nature of angelic, and his life force. So basically, giving up his angelic power plus his life force, which means Zack will be no longer as human, but as a soul. So basically, Charlie and everyone are like against this idea, but Zack ignores it, that he's willing to do it. And he tells Charlie and Abel that Charlie deserves a future and Abel deserves to have his mother back. So, yeah. And the reference of this is from the Star Wars, the Clone Wars, and the Mortis arc, where the daughter is willing to give her life force to Ahsoka, etc. That was the idea, but since both Vaggie and Eve are dead, so Zack is willing to give his angelic power and his life force to both of them, and with the help of God, finishing the final touch to revive them back. So yeah, so Zack gave up his life force and his angelic power to bring back Vaggie and Eve. So Zack is now a soul, but still maintain his human form. Basically like Dragon Ball, where all the Z fighters still maintain their human forms. They're still soul, but they still have to maintain their human form. So Zack is dead, but maintain his human form. And so basically, Vaggie and Eve are back to life. And I know some people say, then what was the point of killing out Vaggie? Well, it's part of the story. I want to have a major character death. And I want a character to feel hopeless, but still carry that last bit of fire within Charlie. That's the idea I wanted with the story. Then seeing God showing his power, that he just restore the damage and destruction of the Pride Ring with ease, because yeah, even though they're terrible people, terrible souls and sinners, but they didn't deserve all this carnage and destruction, because he's willing to fix all the problem with ease. And yeah, so basically that's kind of what happened. And another thing that I forgot to mention is Alistair. So later on, after God restore the Pride Ring, and him and Zack brought Vaggie and Eve back to life, they started like having a celebration, and Zack and Alistair had their discussion about their arrangement, the deal they made. So basically, Alistair says, "Yeah, the deal is off. Yeah, I wanted the deal to be off." This caught Zack so off guard, and Zack was like, "I thought you wanted this power." Alistair was like, "Oh, I did, but things has changed." And Zach was like, Rosie? Since Eve is no longer part of that life, basically, Alistair is not calling Eve Rosie because there was no Rosie to begin with. It was just Eve the whole time, and Alistair knew. So, Alistair is now going to leave the whole. Alistair is going to leave the hotel to lead the cannibal people in the cannibal town. So basically, Alistair is leaving the Hazbin Hotel. He's still going to do his radio stuff, but he's still going to be who he is. In the story, he said, I'm still the strongest overlord. I'm still the most powerful sinners in hell. Someone's got to lead these people. Might as well be me. They need another overlord, and I'm one of them. So Alistair leaves the Hazbin Hotel and be the new ruler of the cannibal people of the cannibal town. The fact that I had Alistair rejected and saying that the deal is off and he's willing to leave the hotel to lead the people in the cannibal town, that is something you don't see in his character, which is something that's been on my mind. And of course, there are going to be some people said that's out of Alistair's character. True, but that is something he would do. Like, let's say Rosie was Eve the whole time. Who's going to lead the cannibal people? No one. Alistair is like the only one because he is a cannibal. So, kind of makes sense to have him to be the new lead to the people of that town. So, it's kind of seemed fitting. So, that's why. So, yeah. So, Alistair rejected the deal and he wanted off. And he did enjoy it with the power, don't get him wrong. But, like I said, things has changed. So, yeah, that happened. Chapter 35, A New Era. The last chapter of this. This chapter takes a year later after the battle against RWBY, and a year later that Alistair left the hotel to leave the cannibal town. We get to see what people have been doing since then, like heaven and hell is now are united and live in peace and live in peace, etc. And the rebuilding and the Pride Ring is fully back together, etc. Charlie is understanding that there are some sinners just cannot be redeemed. There are some sinners just don't want redeemed and don't seek redemption or a second chance, and she's okay with that. She's willing to let them to make their own decision and their choices. Serpentius been sending out letters to his friends in hell to keep them contact, etc. Molly sending photos and letters to her older brother Angel Dust to see that they're okay, etc. Which made Angel Dust feel, grateful, etc. But he does have Husk be by his side as his man. And speaking of Husk, since I didn't add this in the story, but I might as well include it for those people who are going to be questioned. Husk is now back being an overlord. Because if you guys remember in season 1, Husk was an overlord. But since Alistair left the hotel and no longer owned Husk, Husk is now back being overlord, but he remaining staying at the hotel because the hotel is his home. Plus, he has Angel Dust, his man. So, yeah, so he's staying and that is his home. Zach and Cherubim, their relationship grow stronger, loyal, and ride and die. Now, for Al Simmons, he decided to retire as a hellspawn and live his life like always. Basically, living in the alleyway with the homeless, sinners, etc. A few months later, a wedding occurred between uh, the Princess of Hell and the former exorcist, Charlie and Vaggie. So Vaggie is now a Morningstar, a wife to Charlie, sister-in-law to Zach, and the daughter-in-law to Lucifer and Lilith. And speaking of Lucifer and Lilith, they announced that both Lucifer and Lilith are stepping down as the ruler of hell and declare Charlie and Vaggie to be the queens of hell. And Lucifer declares Zach as the executioner of hell. He's still a prince. He is now the executioner of hell. Something that Zach kind of explained that what was the deal between him and Alistair, that Zach was going to make Alistair a executioner. So, yeah, that's the reason why. And the reason why both of them are stepping down as the ruler, because God himself decided to forgive Lucifer and Lilith for their sins and welcome them back to heaven. So, Lucifer and Lilith return back to heaven, but they will visit their children time after time just to see them, whatever. So, yeah. And years has passed. Zach is not only just a prince of hell, but as an executioner and a manager. He's basically taking the manager role of Alistair now since he left. So he's basically a manager of the Hazbin Hotel. And his life has changed ever since he entered hell, meeting everyone and being part of the family. A lone wolf now with a pack, now being married to Cherry Bomb, now known as Charlotte Bomb Morningstar. So years has passed. Zach and Cherry Bomb got married, and they had 2 daughters, twins. Now, before y'all say anything, wait, Cherry, like, how in the hell Cherry was able to have kids? Well, Zach is still a Nephalem. Even though he doesn't have his power, he still have angelic blood. You keep this in mind, his blood is green. And since his father is an angel, his biological father is an angel, and his mother is a demon. So basically, Zach is still a Nephilim, and he can reproduce. You know, this how to put this? I'm trying to say this right. He can pass his seed to Cherry to reproduce, to have children. So yeah, Zach still can, you know, get Cherry pregnant. So yeah, Zach can still, give his seed to Cherry. So yeah, because he's a Nephilim. So yeah, so it's still, if Lucifer was able to get Lilith pregnant, so why not Zach, since he's a Nephilim? Because he is part angel. Again, even though he doesn't have his angelic power, he is still part angel. He still have the angelic blood. So he still can pass his seed to anyone, which is his one and only woman, Cherry. So, yeah. In the end, hell and heaven live in the new era of peace, love, singing, redemption, and hope for eternity. The end. And there you have it, and that is the end of the Hazbin Hotel Blood of the Nephilim fan fiction and behind the scene of the story. Like I said, this is something I was very passionate on to make, and I was so hooked that I was writing I didn't feel anything that I want to stop and give up on it. I was so hooked to writing this fan fiction. And I'm so glad that everyone enjoying this story, etc. And it just felt so good that I finished this. And since now I've finished this fan fiction, what is next afterward? Well, my next fan fiction project I'm going to do is a RWBY fan fiction that involves my Team OCs, Team Shadow. Since people on my RWBY channel are so invested to the characters, my OCs, and before I say anything, this is a commission artwork. I will keep that in mind. This is a commission art. So I'm going to let you guys know that. So this is Team Shadow. And a lot of people in my RWBY channel were so excited and so invested to my character. So I'm looking forward to doing that in the future. And after that will be the rebooted version to my MHA fanfiction of Cage Tatsuma, a rebooted version of his story. After that will be my original story. My original story with original characters, etc. Hell of a Rush, a demonic, dark fantasy, apocalyptic story. So, yeah, I have those 3 in the future, 2 fanfictions, and 1 in the original. But for now, I'm going to take a bit of a break of writing for a bit before I do anything else, because I want to take a break before I exhausted myself. Plus, I need to go back and watch some anime that is on my list. Like, I have 20 anime on my watch list that I need to watch. So, yeah, I'm gonna take a bit of a break of writing for a bit before I do any other fan fiction project. So, yeah, So be on the lookout for those 2 fan fiction projects and my original story in the future. So, yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for enjoying the story of Hazbin Hotel, Blood of the Nephalem. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Tell me what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to my other channels, my social medias will be down below the description box. You guys know the drill. Links to my CashApp, PayPal, Ko-fi will be down below the description box and in my bio if you guys want to donate to support the channel. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Neil before Shredder Critius. I'll see you guys later.